McLaren have just suffered one of the most shocking post-race collapses of the season, and the entire paddock is still trying to process what happened in Las Vegas. What started as a triumphant night, with Lando Norris finishing second and Oscar Piastri bringing home an incredible fourth place, instantly transformed into a disaster that nobody saw coming. FIA scrutineering tore everything apart, and within minutes, the team's biggest result in weeks was wiped from the record books. And the worst part is, McLaren couldn't argue, they couldn't protest, they couldn't negotiate. The rule was clear, the breach was clear, and the punishment was unavoidable. Both drivers disqualified. It all happened behind closed doors, after the celebrations, after the cool-down room, after the podium. The FIA's technical team rolled out their standard post-race inspections, and everything seemed normal until they checked the plank thickness under the McLaren cars. What they found shocked even them. The wooden plank, the legality board that runs under every Formula One car, meant to prevent excessive wear and keep the ride height within safe limits. Both Norris's and Piastri's planks measured below the required 9 millimeters. And the moment that number appeared on the measuring gauge, the fate of McLaren's race was sealed. There was no dramatic hearing, no angry arguments, no emotional defense. The rule doesn't allow for any confusion. If the plank is below the minimum thickness, the car is illegal. Not borderline, not questionable, illegal. Automatic disqualification, the same rule that caught Lewis Hamilton earlier this season in China, the same rule that has taken down several big names over the years, struck again, but this time it took out an entire team's result in one blow. Drivers were summoned, McLaren engineers were summoned, FIA officials explained the findings, and everyone knew the same thing: nothing could save them. Even Norris himself, who had fought so hard in the closing laps despite a mysterious loss of pace, couldn't do anything but accept it. He had enough fuel for the mandatory 1-liter sample, so the rumor that he was low on fuel ended right there. The real problem was the plank, and there was no escape from that. The incredible part is how sudden and cruel the twist was. During the final laps of the race, Norris was chasing Max Verstappen for the win. He was pushing hard, closing the gap, attacking whenever possible. But then something changed. Norris fell off a cliff. His car suddenly lost pace. His engineer's voice became tense. Fans saw it. Analysts commented on it. Something was clearly wrong. Norris later hinted that they were marginal on fuel and had to lift and coast heavily. In a race with low grip, unpredictable surface changes, and intense tire wear, every millimeter of ride height matters. And that's exactly where the issue began. When a driver lifts and coasts aggressively or drives over bumpy sections while trying to save fuel, the plank can hit the ground harder, wearing down in ways the team didn't predict. Add the rough Las Vegas strip surface, heavy braking zones, and the brutal low-grip conditions, and suddenly the wear becomes catastrophic. McLaren were caught in the same trap that cost Hamilton earlier this year. When the car bottoms out too often, the plank suffers. And once it goes below 9 millimeters, the FIA doesn't care about the reason. Intentions, fuel strategy, wear patterns, nothing matter. The rule is absolute. The shockwave this created inside McLaren was immediate. Imagine spending 2 hours battling at the front, executing a near-perfect race, celebrating with your team, and then being called into a small room where the FIA tells you your race never existed. The podium, the points, the glory, nothing means. Everything erased in a single paragraph on the official document. Disqualified, both cars, no appeal allowed. And the timing couldn't be worse. With only 2 race weekends remaining, the championship picture just exploded. Norris had a comfortable lead, controlling his destiny with calm confidence. But after losing an entire race worth of points, his lead shrinks to just 24 points over both Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri, the 2 drivers now tied behind him. A 3-way championship fight just became a war. One bad race for Norris, and he could lose the title he had been dominating for weeks. But what makes this situation even more dramatic is the fact that Norris and Piastri didn't make any mistakes. They didn't crash. They didn't breach strategy rules. They didn't interfere with another driver. They didn't cause an incident. Their race was clean. Their driving was brilliant. But technical regulations don't care about brilliance. they care about numbers. And McLaren were caught by the one number that has zero tolerance: plank thickness. The Las Vegas circuit added its own cruelty to the situation. Drivers called the grip the worst they've ever experienced. The track was washed repeatedly by rain. Every braking zone was unpredictable. Every corner was a gamble. Under those conditions, the cars bounce more, they bottom out more, they skid more aggressively over the bumps. Norris himself struggled late in the race, admitting the car became unpredictable and difficult to handle. That unpredictability, combined with heavy fuel saving, likely pushed the plank beyond its limits. And here's the twist nobody expected. The test that took Norris out had nothing to do with fuel. Fans were worried that Norris would get hit by the notorious fuel sample rule, requiring 1 liter after the race, the same rule that famously took Aston Martin and Sebastian Vettel down 2 years ago. But ironically, Norris passed the fuel test. He had enough. The car wasn't disqualified for low fuel, for strategy miscalculations, or for a pit lane mistake. It was disqualified for something far simpler and far more brutal: the underside of the car wearing down too much. A problem nobody sees until it's too late. For McLaren, this is a psychological blow. You don't just lose points. You lose momentum, you lose confidence, you lose stability, right when the championship pressure is highest. And with Verstappen and Piastri now breathing down Norris's neck with equal points, every decision, every lap, every setup choice in the next 2 races becomes a war for survival. Inside the McLaren garage, the mood must be a mix of disbelief and frustration. Engineers know they had the pace for a huge result. Drivers know they executed well. But a technical flaw, a few millimeters of worn wood, destroyed everything. That's the cruelty of Formula One. You can give the performance of your season, but if one part of the car breaks a rule by even a tiny margin, the FIA wipes your entire race off the board without hesitation. Norris and Piastri walked into Las Vegas as the story of McLaren's resurgence. They walked out as the victims of one of the harshest double disqualifications in recent years. It is rare, extremely rare, for an entire team's race to be erased in one go. But Las Vegas delivered exactly that level of chaos. And now, with 2 races left, the championship has been thrown into madness. This isn't just a penalty. This is a turning point. As the dust settles and the paddock prepares for the next round, one question hangs in the air. If this can happen to McLaren, to 2 of the cleanest, fastest, most consistent drivers of the season, what else can this championship still unleash? And with the title fight now closer than ever, one thing is certain: the next race will not just be a battle for points. It will be a battle for survival. Tell me in the comments, was this disqualification fair or pure FIA chaos? Hit like and subscribe for the next Formula Storm update.